All right, hey guys, happy Sunday evening, or whatever you watch it, happy whatever day. I figure we should make a short video about position sizing. I'm thinking about doing different videos, maybe more educational, although, I feel like the videos I do make are super educational. It's just, I don't go into like specific things, but I don't break down specific things, one by one or focus on something specific. So, I think a good one to start with is position sizing because I don't think this video will be too long. But before we get into position sizing, let's look at Bitcoin. I mean, that is up huge. So sweet. Okay, position sizing. First, assess what the goal is with your brokerage account or your trading style. Now, for this video, we'll talk about growth. If your goal is growth for the account. So, basically, the benchmark is the S&P 500, which I believe averages like 8% per year or something like that. So we'll just go with like 10%. We'll say 10% returns per year. Now, Wall Street or the financial money management industry wants you to think that around 10% is amazing. And certainly 10% is better than nothing, but they want you to think that that is amazing. And when they underperform the S&P 500, like 90% do, or maybe the number is even higher. I don't know. I don't remember the numbers, but most underperform the S&P 500. They will they often justify it with this phrase of a risk weighted return or a risk adjusted return, and it's just a dumb propaganda word for your account had there's less volatility. It's like, that's just a justification for why you underperform. It's meaningless. It's a meaningless word. I've never liked that phrase. It doesn't pass the smell test. So if we can agree, that 10% or so per year is certainly doable and achievable, and you can smash 10% per year out of the water with not taking any, too high risk. Then let's kind of dive into some numbers here real quick. And this is from the book that I like called The Tao of Trading. It's really cool. So, I didn't come up with this, but this is similar to how I think, probably because I've read this book a million times. So he's saying, what if you could do 2.5% per week? So, it goes on to say people say that seems ridiculous. So, all right, well then let's break it down. So let's assume there's an account value of $10,000 and you're risking 5% of your NLV on average. So just the account size, 5% of the account size on average per trade. So if you were to close out one trade per week at a 50% profit, your returns would be 2.5% per week. Now, with options trading and with more of a conservative style of options trading, 50% is certainly doable. I just the other day, 80% with a debit spread in Google, in 4 days. that 150% or whatever with Dow Jones in those couple days. I'm fully aware that those are one-off weeks with the election and how well markets had reacted. But 50% on an options trade on conservative, an in the money call option expiring in 3 months or more. If you get a few percentage point move in your direction, that option will be up 40%, 50%, somewhere around there. So that is completely doable. But here's another scenario is, what if you closed out 5 trades per week with 3 of them winners and 2 of them losers, which is a 60% win rate. Now, 60% win rate is not easy to achieve. A 60% win rate is difficult if you're a swing trader, active trader trying to hone your skills, I guess, or become better. I mean, a 60% win rate is pretty sweet. I mean, some extremely wealthy and rich investors don't have have right around a 60% win rate. So I'm not saying that is an easy thing to achieve, but I'm saying that it is certainly possible and doable. Right? So I mean, you have to be good, is the point, right? I mean, this isn't an easy profession, nor it should be. Lots of people fail and whatever, you don't put in the work and people fail. So the ones that stick around and persist and are good, they should be rewarded. So 60% win rate. So 3 winners, 2 losers. Again, if the with the same numbers, so $500 per trade, a 50% winner, that would be a return of $250, and then 2 50% losers is loss of $250, so $750 for the three winners minus the $500 for the 2 losers is a return of $250 for that week, which represents 2.5% of that account. So your gain for that week was 2.5%. And again, we're talking about, this is pretty doable. I don't know if I close out 5 trades per week. I probably do. Well, I'm thinking about like 5 separate positions, because not just number of contracts, but separate positions, somewhere around there. And again, this is a conservative. The way that I trade options is a relatively conservative one. A few months out to expiration, unless it's a debit spread, in the money, right around, at the money, a 50 delta, right? So these are pretty conservative. I would say, especially these days where people are trading 0-day options. That's something that I don't do. I've seen people post or say things like, this is gonna be a longer dated call option that expires in 2 weeks. I'm like, what? I've never ever bought a call option that expires in 2 weeks. Never. I mean, I'll sell some options like that, but I mean. So, anyways, these are numbers that are realistic for my style and this style, which I've got this from Tao of Trading as well as Bill O'Neill's style of trading. So, okay, so we're at 2.5% per week. After 1 year, that equals something ridiculous of 360% gain per year. So now that is a remarkable return. People have certainly done that. And it's clearly doable. I believe that 2.5% per week is doable. So with the position sizing, okay, let's go back to position sizing and why that's important. So if you think 5% of your account per trade and you're good, right? This isn't like if you suck. It's like if you're good, you can achieve that 2.5% per week. So now why is position sizing important? One, because you want to take your emotion out of the trade, and two, because you want the trade to be large enough in order for it to generate a good return in terms of money. But you don't want to be thinking about the money to cloud your judgment, because you would get emotional. Higher chance of bringing the fear or greed into it. So developing a strategy, maybe stick around 2%. Now, smaller accounts, sometimes you can't even do the 2%, and that's fine. You can still grow an account and learn and make mistakes as long as you're cutting your losses quickly around 5%. Now, oftentimes, I'll be well over 10%. So this, Bitcoin position that I'm in is over 10%. Nvidia is over 10%. XLF, that's right around 6%. The NASDAQ positions, those are around 10%. So, the 5% is doable. It's something that I don't think people will get too caught up in their emotions with trading 5%. And then also, figure out ways where, maybe I'm going to go off on a tangent about how to become detached emotionally. Maybe we could do like psychology videos as well. Oh, that would be so cool. But position sizing and psychology, I believe, go pretty hand in hand. But anyways, so that's it. 5% position sizing. I really am around like a 10, 20. I mean, sometimes 30, but usually around 10%. So position sizing is important. 5% per trade or per position of the account value. And if you're good, that you could realistically do 2.5% per week. So that's it. We'll wrap it up there. See you guys.